Hello everyone and welcome to The Big Story, where we discuss the hottest topics right in the heart of the newsroom. I'm Haryanto, coming to you live from the Straits Times. Now we are streaming on Facebook and on YouTube, so be sure to comment, share and like our video. While you are at it, hit the bell button so that you will be notified whenever we go live. I will have my newsroom colleagues joining me to talk about the stories that got you talking today. Now, still reeling in the F1 fever that happened over the weekend. Now, Ferrari's Sebastian Vettel snapped the top spot in this year's Singapore Grand Prix, thus becoming the first driver to hold the record of 5 wins in the Marina Bay Street circuit. Now, he beat teammate Charles Leclerc and Red Bull's Max Verstappen, who came in third. Now, reigning world champion Lewis Hamilton finished fourth. This was his 53rd career victory, but his first since last year's Belgium GP. Despite the haze and air quality over the weekend, throngs of fans turned up undeterred for the race and concerts. Now, the 12th edition of the Singapore race drew a 3-day total of 268,000 fans, making it the second highest attendance after the inaugural race in 2008, which had 300,000 in attendance. So what does Vettel's win mean? This was Ferrari's third straight win. The last time they managed that was in 2008. Are we finally seeing a comeback for Ferrari? Now, to tell us more, I have acting news editor of the sports desk, Say Heng, with me. Hello, Say Heng.
Hello.
Nice to see you. Now, Say Heng, for a start, if you could tell us, how did the race on Sunday compare to previous editions, in terms of the drama and the excitement that happened?
We all know that, in terms of our street circuit, since the first night race in 2008, our street circuit is configured such that there are few overtaking opportunities. So whenever there's drama, it usually happens at the start of the race or when there are pit stops, as we have seen over the years. So definitely the start this year was not as dramatic as the one in 2017 when Max Verstappen and Kimi Raikkonen took each other out. They crashed into each other at the start of the race. But what was most interesting this year was the duel between Ferrari teammates Sebastian Vettel and Charles Leclerc. Now we all know that Leclerc sat on pole on Sunday and led for a good 1/3 of the race before his teammate Vettel was caught in for the pit stop earlier than his teammate. That resulted in Vettel coming out ahead of his teammate, and Vettel kept the position until the end of the race, which Leclerc wasn't too happy about. And I was watching the race at home, and several times during the race I could hear Leclerc saying on the team radio, whether there's a chance of him being returned to the rightful position.
Oh wow.
Although I was hopeful that Leclerc would be returned to number one, it was probably wishful thinking because in terms of the team, they wouldn't want to do anything that would jeopardize the 1-2 finish, which was their first in since 2017.
And of course, apart from it being a Leclerc victory, it's also looking out for the team in general as well, right? For Ferrari, and then what you mentioned, the 1-2 win, the first and the second position. Now, let's shift the focus a bit on the winner, Vettel and Ferrari. Now, while they remain far behind Mercedes in the constructors' standings, so right now it's 394 points to 527, there is renewed optimism with the win. Are we seeing a resurgence of Ferrari, you reckon?
I suppose in the second half of the season, it might be more exciting than the first, where Mercedes were virtually winning every race. But in terms of the drivers and the constructors' championship, it might not mean that much. Now, our columnist, David Tremaine, has already filed a piece analysing this race, and it's already online. So you can go and read it at straitstimes.com or read it in print tomorrow. But basically, he was looking at the points that the drivers could possibly earn in the remainder of the season. Now, I wouldn't give too much away, but basically, Ferrari may be strong, but you cannot discount the likes of Hamilton or Bottas just sitting back and allowing Ferrari to get all the points. They will still be fighting for the points, and in terms of the drivers and the constructors' championship, Ferrari are definitely still in the driving seat, so to say.
Right. And that said, of course, well, we look at it on a bigger picture, right, with the Singapore Grand Prix. What do you reckon the future lies for the Singapore Grand Prix beyond its current deal, which expires in 2021? We're talking about factors to consider. Yeah.
So my colleague Sazali is also filing a piece that will come out tomorrow.
Yeah.
But basically, it's quite an interesting time for the Singapore Grand Prix.
Yeah.
So the former F1 boss Bernie Ecclestone once called Singapore, the crown jewel of F1. And the current owners, Liberty Media, one of their representatives, also said earlier this week, or rather last week, that Singapore still has a place in their strategy, which is them wanting to host GPs in destination cities. So, and definitely the race has had a big positive impact on Singapore since 2008, in particular the tourism numbers. So since 2008, we have drawn 1.4 billion in incremental tourism receipts. And every year more than 200,000 people come to the GP. And as you said, this year is the second highest. Other than the inaugural race. So what other event in Singapore can draw more than 200,000 people in just 3 days? So that is one factor that all the parties involved will think about. Recently, earlier this month, Senior Minister of State for Trade and Industry, Chee Hong Tat, he also said that we would be keen to continue if the price is right. Because the race really showcases our city landscape to the world. And the race is broadcast to some 840 million viewers.
Okay, so clearly, Say Heng, there are a lot that needs to be considered with the future of GP, but it does look quite positive, right, with all the returns that it brings to Singapore. And of course, like you mentioned earlier on as well, there are pieces written by our columnists and even SARS as well with regard to the F1 fever. It's still ongoing even though it has ended over the weekend. Really, if you want to read up on that and you want to know more about what happened over the weekend and really what is the future that lies ahead for Singapore Grand Prix, you can head over to our website at www.straitstimes.com. Once again, thank you so much, Say Heng, for coming onto the show to tell us more about the F1 and Singapore Grand Prix in general.
Thank you.
Yeah.